I have never unhauled a book before, and if I'm being honest, I think it's time. Some of the books on my shelves are from 7 years ago, back when I moved into my first apartment. A lot of them were complete misses for me. I've also been in a little bit of a reading slump lately, and I'm starting to wonder if my bookshelves are part of the problem. So today we're going to go through everything. I'm deciding what stays, what goes, and hopefully I can make some space for the new books that I definitely did not need to buy this month. If we haven't met yet, I'm Anandita, and let's just get right into it. I have a very weird attachment to my witchy books, which is just this section right here. I know that I didn't love all of them, but I am having such a hard time deciding if I want to get rid of anything or not. I think this is one of the only books that I have not read that I am considering getting rid of. When I bought it, I really thought it was going to be something that I liked, but now I'm just not really sure. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, if I should keep it or not. So this is what the bookshelf is looking like so far. I did get a good chunk out of the mystery, thriller, horror section. Kind of knew that the fantasy section was not going to get was not going to lose much. The white bookshelves in the beginning of this video are my main bookshelves, but I do have some books on these shelves in the downstairs room. They're kind of mixed in with board games. And I know that I'm going to have a lot to get rid of from here. So let's just grab them. I am a little bit on the fence about getting rid of Book of Night by Holly Black. It was not something that I loved, but this will probably go in the maybe pile as well. Okay, I'm back. I have my pile of unhauls, and then I do also have a maybe pile that we're going to go through as well. There are 18 books. I'm getting rid of at least 18 books. These books will either go to my local independent bookstore or to the thrift store that is nearby as well. I may drop some of these in the little free libraries that are around my neighborhood because I've also never visited any of them, so that could be kind of fun to do. But yeah, let's just get into it. First one is Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. And I did buy this book at the end of 2025. I think I read this in December because I was like, Winterwood, it's like wintry, it's like the perfect time of year for this. I don't think this is a bad book, but I think that I might be the wrong age group for it. I think this is better suited for someone who's younger, someone who's maybe in their teens or somewhere around that age. And I feel like this book needs another chance to impress somebody because it didn't really impress me, and it's no fault of the book or the author. I think I'm just not the right age group for this, like I said. So I bought this from the used bookstore near me, so it might end up just going back there. Oh, I just realized that this is a signed copy too, which I didn't realize before. Oh, that's so nice. The next book that I have that I'm unhauling, it's the whole series actually. It is the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I'm not sure what the series is called actually, but the first book is called Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Menescalco. I know this author is really popular on Book Talk, Booktube, and I will admit I did fall for the hype. Honestly, when I was reading it, I did enjoy it, but over time, my feelings about it changed, and I don't think that I really liked it as much as I thought I did. It's been like 4 or 5 years since I read it, and I just don't feel very strongly about it anymore. This is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and I don't think I got past the first couple pages. The book starts with an interaction between the two main characters, and for me, that conversation was so cringy. I couldn't get past the first page. I kind of just stopped reading it, and again, someone else will be able to enjoy this. I'm sure there's someone out there who has been wanting to read this, and I am very happy to provide them with a discounted copy of it. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. I feel really bad about getting rid of this book because I do think the subject matter is important. Like, it's important that we talk about Asperger's, and it's important that we have awareness about the the condition. As far as like a mystery goes, because I think that's what this was, it didn't catch my attention. There is a larger mystery, I think, that we're following, like a murder of some kind or something like that. And also the main character, the one who has Asperger's, is kind of uncovering secrets about his own family. I do feel bad, but I don't want to keep books that are not going to make me happy. Okay, this book might be the oldest book that I own. This is The Midnight Dance by Nikki Katz. I don't remember where I bought it, when I bought it. I don't remember anything. I don't remember reading it either. So that's kind of a problem. I think that is kind of the main reason why I want to get rid of it. I don't see myself ever rereading this. I've had this book for so long. I think I'm ready to part with it. So if anyone is interested in reading The Midnight Dance, there's going to be a copy floating about, discounted. The next book is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. 6 friends get stuck on an island somewhere and one of them disappears, one of them is murdered. I just remember being kind of disappointed with the ending. Like I didn't think this book was anything to really write home about. It wasn't very exciting. It wasn't very interesting. And I honestly don't remember a lot about this book. The only thing I really remember generally is I remember being excited about reading this because I think the year that I bought it, I had been hearing a lot about it. And the only thing I remember is just an overwhelming sense of disappointment. So, yeah, I think it's time for it to go. Then the next book is The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine, which I did read recently. So I read this in January. And I think it's similar to what I was saying about Reckless Girls, although like I remember this book, unlike Reckless Girls. I remember what happened in this book, and it's just a little bit underwhelming. It's a dark book. There are some dark themes in it, but I just feel like it wasn't very interesting. Honestly, it was a little bit of a disappointment as far as like domestic thrillers go. I am totally fine parting with it. I'm good. Okay, next we have 2 Ali Hazelwood books. These are Not in Love and Check and Mate. Of the 2, I think Not in Love is the one that I read most recently. I think this was a point when I was actually just really getting tired of Ali Hazelwood's writing. Kind of just getting tired of the tropes that she is constantly using. And, the same thing that everyone else says, that like her books just kind of started getting repetitive. Check and Mate was, I think, slightly better than Not in Love, but again, I just didn't really enjoy it as much as I did the first few Ali Hazelwood books that I read. I did keep one Ali Hazelwood book, which is the first one I ever read. It was Love Theoretically. I just kind of like the idea of keeping it as a memento, to kind of commemorate and remember when I was really into Ali Hazelwood. Okay, the next book is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I feel like I liked this book more than a lot of people did. Like, I think that it doesn't deserve as much hate as it gets. But at the same time, I just don't feel very strongly towards it. I don't feel like I would ever reread it. I don't really feel anything when I see it on my bookshelf. And that's kind of how I feel about the next book as well, Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. I thought it had very interesting musings, I guess, about love and parenthood. It was kind of just mid for me. It was a mixed bag for me. I did like some parts, and there were some parts I feel like I didn't really enjoy either. And again, it's just a book that when I see it on my shelf, I don't feel very connected to it. I don't feel very strongly about it. And I think for that reason, I wouldn't really mind passing it on to someone else. And then we have Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I tried to be a stick girl. I didn't do a great job. I kind of think of this book as like guilty pleasures, you know? It's not anything very nuanced. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this is a spicy book. It says unspeakably hot on the cover. This was kind of related to like Greek mythology. So the guy in this story is Hades and the girl is Persephone. And I did enjoy it when I was reading it. I do think that I tend to have a bias when it comes to things that were related to Greek mythology, even when it comes to books like this. So I think that played a big part in why I enjoyed it, because I like reading about the Greek gods and goddesses. I read this 4 or 5 years ago, and maybe like in 2020 or 2021, and I don't feel very strongly about it anymore. I don't feel like I want to keep it. I don't see myself ever picking it up again. And for a lot of these books, I feel like they just don't represent me as a reader anymore. Then the next book was another kind of disappointment for me. It was a book that I thought I was going to like. It's Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. I was so excited when I bought this book. I was so excited to read it. I thought it was going to be something that I really liked. I really liked the cover too. I still like the cover. But I don't know, this was just kind of disappointing to me. I just expected more from it. I remember it not being as good as I was hoping it would be. That is how I feel about the last remaining books in the Unhaul pile as well. So the next one that I was really excited about was The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. I think what drew me to this book was like the setting is in New York City, and there's like a magic system, I think, that involves tarot cards. The main character is working at this museum. She was expecting to work at the Met, but she ends up working at a other like Gothic museum called the Cloisters. It's supposed to be like a Gothic story set in New York City, and I think like all of those factors got me really interested, and I was pretty excited about reading this. I was so disappointed with the ending and like kind of how the events played out in this book. And so it was really disappointing when I realized that it wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be. And again, I just kept, I just held on to these books for all these years. Next, we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I really wanted to like this more than I did. There is a little bit of a mystery involved. You don't really know what's going on with this house until a certain point in the book. Once I realized what was happening, like once it's revealed, I feel like I was a little bit underwhelmed. I think in general also I was a little bit bored when I was reading this. I don't know why. I feel really bad about saying that because I think this is another book that I really wanted to like. For me, I'm more of a horror girl than a thriller girl, you know? Like I don't really like when the threat is something rooted in reality. I like it when it's something that's like supernatural. I really like it when houses have personalities, and I don't know if that's a trope, but like houses that like just want you to get out, you know? Like I just really like that kind of stuff. So this book just sounded like it was going to be up my alley, and unfortunately it was not what I wanted it to be. I know that a lot of people love this book. And one of my hopes with unhauling these books is that they will find new homes and they will be loved the way that they should be loved by someone else. Okay, and then this is the last book. It's a book that I got, I think, because of hype. But also, I am a very heavy fantasy reader. I love fantasy. I think I have more fantasy than any other genre in like on my bookshelves. When I heard about this book, I was on the hype train. I really thought that I was going to love it. It's one of the most popular books in recent years. And I mean, at this point, I don't even think it's a controversial take for me to say that I didn't like it. It's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is one of the only books in this group that I remember distinctly what I did not like about this book. So that's how strong of an impression it had on me. I wasn't a fan of the main character. I love the idea of a character who is not like super strong and like not like a badass. She's just figuring things out. She doesn't know what she's doing and she's clumsy. She can't really fight. She's very weak, but she somehow perseveres, right? Like that sounds great to me. I do like that concept. I don't think this book did a good job with that concept. It's not believable what she does to get out of difficult situations. I don't want to ruin anything in case anyone watching this has not read this yet. I felt like it was like a cop out every time she did certain things. And she used the same tactics for the same situations multiple times. And like somehow no one realized. But yeah. I also wasn't a big fan of the romance. I think I prefer like slow burn romances over whatever you would call this like insta love. I'm not an insta love person. I can be if it's done well, but for the most part I like my characters kind of figuring out their feelings and not just like going straight into bed. I will say the ending did surprise me. Like there's certain things about the ending that I did not expect. Don't know why I kept this. I think I just kept this book because I think the cover is very beautiful. It's been a while since I've talked about gold foiling on covers, but I do love a gold foil. So now we're going to talk about the books that I have in my maybe pile. We will start with When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is one of the only two books that I am thinking about getting rid of, but I have not read yet. I feel like I picked up this book because of hype and also because I just really like the cover. And over time, I just started feeling like I may not end up liking it. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you've read this, do you recommend it? Do you think I should give it a try before, deciding to unhaul it? The next book that I am kind of on the fence about getting rid of is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. This is the only T. Kingfisher that I have ever read, and I did not like it as much as I thought I would. unfortunately. But I do really want to find a T. Kingfisher book that I love, and I know that there is one out there. I just have to try some of her other genres. I do have one other T. Kingfisher book, The Twisted Ones, and I think that one is more of like a horror, so I might try that one next. And there's a few others that I have been wanting to try, but as far as this one goes, it was a little bit of a disappointment for me. But I don't know, I don't want to part with it for some reason. I think part of that is because I did buy this within like the last 6 months, and I feel a little bit silly like unhauling it already. I think this may end up in the unhaul pile, and I'm so sad about it, honestly. But the goal is to only keep the books that I feel joy or that I'm still interested in reading. The next one that I'm not sure about is The Hacienda by Isabella Cañas. I did read this around the same time that I read Mexican Gothic, and I did enjoy this a little bit more. I still don't think that I was like in love with this story. I think this story is kind of similar to Rebecca, where you have this like younger woman who gets really taken by this older man, and she agrees to marry him, and she kind of moves into his house. But the staff, at the house doesn't want her there, and it almost seems like the house itself doesn't want her there either. I just have the memory of enjoying this more than I enjoyed Mexican Gothic, but I still don't think that I really loved this as much as I was hoping I would. And for that reason, I am kind of considering getting rid of it. I can't decide for that one either. The next book we have is Hester by Lori Lico Albanese. The funny thing is, like, I don't remember a single thing about this book. I don't remember if I liked it or not. I don't remember what I rated it either. Did I even read this book? Okay, I just read the synopsis, and honestly, I do feel like this sounds very interesting to me. I believe that this is meant to be the inspiration for The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, but I think this is also still fictional. It's following a woman who, because of some circumstances, ends up meeting Nathaniel Hawthorne and they end up falling in love. And I think it also talks about Salem witch trials and women being persecuted for not being married with a husband. I mean, I think the main character is married, but I think her husband leaves her. That puts her in a bad position for this time period. And because I don't remember it, I think that I could probably reread this and then decide after if I want to, unhaul it. The next book is The Book of Night by Holly Black. I think I read this a few months after reading Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I was surprised at the similarities between these two books. I feel like the premises are kind of similar, settings are similar, and I did enjoy Book of Night more than I enjoyed Crescent City. But again, this book wasn't something that I was like obsessed with. I am a really big fan of Holly Black. I do really like the Cruel Prince series. I was obsessed with it when I first read it. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite romantasy, like enemies to lovers series. I became like a huge fan of Holly Black after that. So that's the reason why I bought this and decided to read it. But I didn't end up loving it as much as I loved The Cruel Prince. And I think for that reason, that's kind of why I am considering getting rid of it. I think I am leaning towards keeping that as well. Then the last book that I have that is in my maybe pile is, oh man, I don't know. I'm not sure about this one at all. It's a book by an author that I really love this author. I'm a huge fan of hers, but I just did not like this book as much as I liked some of her other books. So it's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. I just checked what I rated this book and I did give it a 4 stars. I think what I really meant to give it was like a 3 stars. At the time of reading this, I was a very generous rater. I rated a lot of things 4 stars, honestly. And yeah, I mean, I liked this book. I didn't love it. I think it was just okay. I don't remember much about it. I do kind of remember like the general premise of it though. I remember that it's like this, you're following this character. She kind of tricks him into giving her immortality in return for her soul, but as long as she's still alive, he can't get the soul, right? So he's like kind of chasing her, and it's a little bit of like death is kind of trying to seduce her. So it's like a little bit of like a romance in a way, I guess. For me, I didn't find the actual book as interesting as I found the premise. But again, I am a huge fan of V. Schwab's. I'm a huge fan of her Shades of Magic series, and I'm a huge fan of the Vicious duology, or I guess it's not a duology anymore, right? Because there's a third book coming out. But I love those series so much. I love her writing. I love how she builds her characters. I'm a huge, huge fan. But with Addie LaRue, I just don't love it as much. And so that's why I don't really know if I want to keep it or not. I think I'm leaning towards keeping it though, because I am such a big fan of hers. So, of the 6 books that were in the maybe pile, I'm keeping 5, getting rid of 1. So that puts my total unhaul to 19 books, which is pretty good, honestly, considering that I'm a little bit of a hoarder with my books and I have such trouble getting rid of them. I think 19 books is a great place to start. Okay, so the last phase of this endeavor is that I need to put this pile of books, which you probably can't see, but I have a pile of books here that I have been trying to fit onto my shelves and I could not before. So now I should have enough space. I have 13 books that I need to fit onto these shelves. They're a mixture of books that I've had for a while that I just took off my shelf and then I could not fit them back in. And there are also some books that I recently bought. I'm not really going to do a haul situation here. We're not going to really talk about the books. The goal really is just to get these books on the shelves so they're not like lying around in my room like they were before. So let's just get right into that. At this point, I have all of my books back on my shelves. I was able to fit all of them, which is great. And I even have a little bit of extra space on a few shelves. Not that I'm saying that I'm going to be buying more books, but if anything happens or if I want to bring books from the other room up here, I do have space for them. So that's nice. This is my first time actually like moving books out of my library, which feels very foreign to me, like feels very strange. I almost am a little bit uncomfortable about it, but I know that it's also healthy to kind of declutter. And I think my bookshelves are one of those places that I really needed to declutter. I do feel a little bit better after going through my bookshelves and pulling out the books that I no longer feel connected to. I didn't spend too much time looking at the books on my shelves that I haven't read yet and that I'm excited about. So I don't know how much this really helped with my reading slump. I think generally I do feel better kind of purging a little bit, you know, like I feel like I am pushing out the old and making room not necessarily for new books but for more opportunity in my mental space to be able to think about the books that I haven't read yet that I already own, you know. So I think overall this was a success. Did manage to hit at least most of my goals for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it. I don't know if anything I talked about was helpful, but if it was, I am really glad that it was. Yeah, I will see you in another video soon. Thank you so much for watching.